Hello everyone, myself Bisalakshi Sawarni, and today I am going to speak on Kantak Hindi, which is spoken in the northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh. It is also called as Arunachali Hindi. So I'll try to give a brief description of how it originated and how the speakers have nativized the Hindi language in order to meet their own convenience, according to their own convenience. So we all know that Arunachal Pradesh is one of the northeastern states of India. However, a very little known fact and also an interesting one is that Arunachal Pradesh is a flourishing center of the Hindi language in the northeast India. About 90% of its population can speak the language, and Hindi is one of the languages that is spoken on the state legislative assembly. So, according to one of the recent language surveys, Arunachal Pradesh is a home of about 90 native languages. So it is quite surprising that Hindi became the lingua franca of the region. However, quite ironically, it is because of the presence of so many native languages that Hindi gained popularity in the region, because the native languages were mutually unintelligible. So in order to communicate among themselves, the native speakers use the Hindi language. However, we also cannot ignore the various historical and political factors that have played a very important role in spreading the Hindi language in the northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh. Now, let me give a very brief idea about the political phenomenon that led to the popularity of Arunachal Pradesh, that led to the popularity of Hindi language in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. So, during the time of India's independence, Arunachal Pradesh was a part of Assam, and in 1951 it was renamed as NEFA. However, during that time, the medium of instruction was Assamese. However, in 1965, the NEFA was removed under from the administration of Assam and placed under the Ministry of Home Affairs. And in 1972, it was declared as a union territory of Arunachal Pradesh. And in 1978, it gained recognition as a full-fledged state. So, since the time of the administration of the state changed from Assam, there was a widespread opposition of Assamese being the medium of instruction in the state. Earlier, it was the Nepalese language that was used. However, since the time the administration changed, there was widespread opposition to that, and so in the absence of a common native language, English and Hindi were introduced as the medium of instruction in educational institutions, and that remains the case till today. Again, the popularity of Hindi in the state can also be seen in the context of volatile politics of its geographical location. Arunachal Pradesh was at the heart of the Sino-Indian conflict of 1962. The presence of the Indian army in the state is also one of the reasons of the popularity of the language in the state. It is often said that that was one of the first instances when Hindi was introduced there in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. So, the Kantak Hindi or Arunachalese Hindi that has emerged in the state has some very interesting grammatical features. Though not much work has been done on this language, it could be very well differentiated from the standard Hindi language. One of the most noticeable characteristic is that the language is slowly moving towards an agglutinative structure of the Tibeto-Burman languages, which are present in the state. However, the Arunachalese Hindi has not yet discarded all the features of the prototypical Hindi language. So, Kantak Hindi is the linked language in Arunachal Pradesh, and it is used in all public spheres, be it education, market, offices, government, etc. Though Hindi is the primary lexifier for Kantak Hindi, but the language also borrows words and various grammatical features from a diverse pool of languages such as the Eastern Indo-Aryan languages, Tibeto-Burman languages, English language, etc. So now I would like to talk about a few phonological changes that differentiates the Arunachalese Hindi from the standard Hindi. One of it is partial reduplication. In echo word formation, it follows the rule of replacing the initial word. In the rule of replaciveness, a plus back, plus high, plus rounded, U replaces the first syllable of a lexeme. So you can see in the slide I have already shown the phonological rule. So Ruti becomes Ruti Uti. Thus the example illustrates the echo word formation where the lexical noun Ruti meaning bread becomes Ruti Uti meaning bread and other edible things. So in this way echo words are formed in Arunachalese Hindi. Next comes devoicing, which is a very important phenomenon in the language. So it is mostly seen among people who lack formal training in Hindi or who do not use Hindi regularly. So what happens is that the voice sounds becomes minus voiced. So nasib becomes nasib, phasa becomes pasa. Next comes fricatization. So Tibeto-Burman languages do not have palatal stops and affricates. Thus the Hindi palatal affricate cha is realized as sa. It is also influenced by neighboring languages like Assamese, which do not have this palatal affricates. So acha becomes assa, cha becomes sa. Next comes spirantization. A sound change where a stop changes to fricative is called as spirantization. So here what happens is that the bilabial stop pa of Hindi is replaced with labiodental fricative fa. So kapra becomes kafra, pura becomes fura, nap becomes naf. Next comes trilation. So in Arunachalese Hindi, the old and the less educated speakers replace the lateral la by trill ra. So what happens is lasun becomes rasun, rumal becomes rumar. Next comes labelization. So in Arunachalese Hindi, the labiodental approximant of Hindi is substituted by a bilabial stop among the speakers who are less educated. This phenomenon is also influenced by the other Eastern Indo-Aryan languages that are present in the region like Assamese, Nepalese, Bangla who do not have a labiodental approximant. So jawab becomes jabab, hawa becomes hawa, now becomes nab. Next comes rounding. So the speakers of the Arunachalese Hindi who lack formal training in Hindi and are bilinguals in Assamese or Bengali replace Hindi swa by low rounded vowel of Eastern Indo-Aryan languages. So matar becomes motor. Vowel raising. In Arunachalese Hindi, the Hindi higher low vowel a is raised to a higher mid vowel e because Tibeto-Burman languages do not have a higher low vowel. So bet becomes bet, pair becomes pair. It is also observed that people who work on lower jobs or who are mainly working class people, what they do is they centralize the vowels of loan words which are taken from English when they are used in the Arunachalese Hindi language. So taxi becomes taxi. Now I'd like to talk about some of the morphological changes that has taken place in the language and that has led to the deviation of the language from the standard Hindi. So one of it is formation of the plural. So Arunachalese Hindi adopts a very simple strategy of plural formation. What it does is that it suffixes the noun lok to all types of nouns, whether animate or inanimate, and pronouns to form plurals. For example, larka log means boys, kitab log means girls, ma log means mother, आप लोग means you all, in log means them, juta log means shoes. Another important syntactic change that has taken place in the language is the lack of agreement. So one of the most prominent feature of the standard Hindi language is agreement. However, it is not present in the Arunachalese Hindi language. What the Arunachalese Hindi speakers do is that they adopt the default agreement of the third person masculine singular for agreement, to show agreement. For example, Liza kamre se nikla, whereas in standard Hindi it would have been Liza kamre se nikli. Again, गच लोग मर गया, या हम लोग का पॉल्यूशन नहीं ना, लड़की लोग लंबा हो रहा है. Another important characteristic is the absence of oblique marking. All the oblique markings of nouns or pronouns preceding the addition of any postpositions in standard Hindi are absent in Arunachalese Hindi, such as कुत्ता को देख के रोना शुरू करा, बच्चा लोग वास्ते, अपना देश में मरना है. Now I'd like to talk about some of the lexical changes in the language. So the Arunachalis Hindi speakers, they have adopted various innovative techniques in order to fill the various lexical gaps that are present in the language. For example, the standard Hindi language do not have a equivalent for the English word cousin. So the Arunachalis Hindi speakers have adopted the Hindi word nakli, meaning artificial, and extended its use for cousin. For example, nakli bahan, meaning female cousin. Nakli bhai, meaning male cousin. Again, the word asli, meaning real, is used as an intensifier for really or very. As an sentence, वो असली का hardworking है, meaning she or he is very hardworking. The discontinuous negative particle bina के without of standard Hindi is replaced by the simple strategy of placing negative nahi with productive nominalizer wala, as in the sentence पूछ नहीं वाला बंदर, meaning tailless monkey. Innovation also involves extending the meaning of a Hindi lexical item in such a way that Hindi word becomes polysemous. One of the example is mar, which originally means hit or kill. However, it is used as a conjunct verb for various kinds of meanings. One of it is vote mar, meaning to cast a vote. In these words, in this way, various words are becoming polysemous. It is used in different contexts. Particle wala. The genitive phrases of standard Hindi are also replaced by wala constructions. For example, chai peene wala dukan instead of chai ki dukan in standard Hindi. There are cases where this particle is used for deriving nouns in Arunachalis Hindi, as in uska hasne wala instead of standard Hindi uski hase. Uska hath likhala in Arunachalis Hindi instead of standard Hindi uski likhai. Another important characteristic is the use of modal sak as a main verb. So the Arunachal speakers use the modal sak as a main verb in order to indicate the ability or inability to do an action. For example, tribal log bahar jana pasand nahi karta, jitna sakta sakega. Meaning, tribal people do not prefer to go out, they do as much as they can. Jitna sakta abhi sab log Christian में लेके आना है. We want to convert all people to Christianity as much as we can. So it can be said that in the non-Hindi belt, the emergence of contact Hindi is need-based. It is a source of communication with non-Hindi speakers as well as speakers of the Hindi language in that place. It is clear that there are several sources for input of the contact Hindi, such as schools, television, newspaper, media, etc. But the speaker do not receive standard Hindi as an input. In fact, they receive the simplified version of Hindi produced by the native Hindi speakers and original Hindi from other speakers, such as the Eastern Indo-Aryan speakers in the Northeastern region. So it is very important to remember that the effort is towards knowing Hindi that can be used for daily communication. The effort is not towards knowing the standard Hindi. They try to nativize the language as much as they can according to their own convenience and according to their own needs. So it is need-based. Here I have provided the my references, as you all can see. Thank you.